Everybody, welcome to Stockradar Stocks on the Move for another week. Today's date is the 13th of the 3rd, 2024. I'm recording this on Wednesday night. My name is Richard Lee and I manage the stockradar.com.au website for you. So here I am again this week. It's a short punchy one this week. I did notice this week the market had a bit of a dip down. Scary, I know, but we've really got to be careful about not worrying too much about these things, because in the end the market is in an uptrend both overseas and here. So I just want to comment a little bit about that. The trend is up and it's strong at the moment. Okay, at the moment we've got our banks dominating our index. We've also got Wesfarmers, Goodman Group possibly there, and of the other ones, CSL and the other three resource stocks there are really not doing anything. So it really is the banks that are pulling this market higher at the moment. And that's a market, and that is the general market. But are your stocks, your individual stocks, trending up? Is what I really want to talk about today, because you've got to know where your stops are. And some stocks have come back a long way, some stocks came back a little bit. We just got to make sure we don't get shaken out unnecessarily. Okay, so positive this week is the banks, and the trend is up. Don't get shaken out unnecessarily. That's really the main theme of it today. So. When I talked about your specific stocks, what I mean is where your stop is. You've got to make sure that's concerned. Don't worry about the market itself too much, because again, you can see here stocks can move in different directions completely to the market. At the moment we've only got 54 stock picks of 160 stocks covered, so still a small group of stocks there pushing this market higher. So that's what's happening there. Now we're just going to go to the top 10 and the stock pick count. Top 10, well, we've got quite a numerous selection to pick from the top 10, but I've just got a few here. Brickworks and Sol Group, which I'll have a look at for you in a second, and also Breville Group, another one. This consumer discretionary stock has been an interesting one. It's gone up fast, it's come down fast, but still it seems to be holding okay. Then we've got NAB, Westpac, CBA, the banks. I'll talk a bit about ANZ a bit later on. Next, DC is just killing it, making new highs, and just gone on with leaps and bounds since it broke to new highs of about $14. It's now $17. We've got Centre Group in there, Suncorp, and also Sandfire as your top 10. Okay, and as far as stock pick counts go, we're up another 5 this week. We've got 68 stocks, 68 stock picks and ETFs of 183, which is 54 stock picks of 160, and 14 ETFs of 23. So that's the lay of the land there. So the market, again, the important thing is to look at the market. It's in an uptrend. We had 130 points down the other day, which is a real shake to the system after a huge rally. But as I say, the trend is up, and one day does not really make a market. So we've really got to focus on that bigger picture. Remember, I talked to you about the Dow monthly last week, that Dow monthly chart. You can just see the market just up and up and up and up. The last 2 years, maybe not, but that's new in our memory. So that's what we tend to focus on, which is not really the right thing to do. So, so the market is going up and looks okay. So let's have a look at the Dow anyway to start off with. It looks fine. The move down was really nothing there last week. We've had this week's been up again. The trend is up. A bit of selling here, but it really hasn't made a dent on the market at the moment. So it's looking pretty good, the Dow, to me. The S&P is no real different. We've had a little bit of one selling week of all these selling weeks, and really had no effect on the market at all. So again, uptrend intact, no problem there. Again, reminding you that market corrections dips will occur all the way through here. Dips come back, pull back, and we've got to make sure that we stay with the trend, and it's not over until we're told. Okay, so the Nasdaq, well, it's trying to make new highs. It's struggling a little bit, but there's no reason why it shouldn't. The rest of the market seems to be going pretty high, so while with the Nasdaq, I know there's some very overblown stocks over there at the moment, but that's what happens. We just follow the momentum, follow the trend, and when it tires out and stops, then we'll get off that boat. But for the moment, this index is going higher. And as far as our market goes, look, we're trying to push ourselves and get a little bit more consolidation above those old highs of 629. We've got to just over 7,800. We're back to 7,700 at the moment, so it's been a bit of a fight, but we are going up, and that's the main thing on the ASX. And again, we've really now got those banks pushing this index higher. It's unfortunate to say, but that's the way it is. It should be a market index, but it's not really. It's a top 20 index, and that's how it is. Okay, gold. Well, it's consolidating its gains. It's holding on to its gains. It's looking okay. Our gold stocks aren't really doing that much. So I don't know whether we're not believing it or whatever it is, but it's not really exciting anybody at the moment, but it is going up. So gold is there for you. Copper's not doing much. Again, still looking pretty, moving on R1 maybe, but nothing really that exciting. And Brent crude as well. I notice the petrol barrels have gone up a lot, but the crude price hasn't gone up a lot, so maybe that's got to do with the Australian dollar, I don't know. But anyway, so Brent crude really is not doing much at the moment apart from going sideways, which is a very unusual thing for Brent crude. Okay, so that's sort of the overseas markets and a little few things. Just a bit about stops. Remembering your stops are the most important thing on your individual stocks, and not to get shaken out. And necessarily just because the Dow tumbles or the ASX 200 tumbles doesn't necessarily mean your stock's going to fall out. Okay, so let's just have a look at a few. Let's just go through the banks to start with. As to why this market is so strong, we can just see what National Australia Bank's done here. It's rode through its highs there, and it's now kicking high. Trend intensity rating of 10. We've got very, very good volume here, excellent momentum. The whole thing is broken out of a big trading range here, so it's looking very good indeed. A bit like as I said to you last week with CBA, I just extrapolate the range up 25 to 32.50. That gives me a rough target as to where I think the market might go to. But really, in the end, it's my stop loss, which is the main thing that's going to drive that. But the bank, National Bank, looks great. Commonwealth Bank, as you know, is the almighty one. It just keeps going higher and higher and keeps amazing us all. But I don't think it's going to stop yet. It still seems to be okay. No one's really rattling the cage yet, so it's holding its uptrend nicely there. Westpac Bank, again, it's just skyrocketed since we saw this turnaround area here through this switch zone here. And again, this bit to do with why the banks are so strong. All four of them are rallying. We'll look at ANZ in a second, but it's a good breakout Westpac. It was $21 back in December. It's now $27. So that's a really good boost for the index, and a good boost for those people who hold Westpac shares. We've had a pretty bad run since about 2015. Okay, so now we can go to ANZ, and I haven't really got involved in this one because I just was a bit worried about all this congestion up here. So again, being my conservative self, although we have a clear trend reversal here, the resistance here is just too much for me to ignore. So I've held on for this one here, and we've got up to this high here, this R1 area, and it's just stopping there for a second. Trend intensity rating is +3, so that's a positive sign. I do like the clear area above once we get above this area, but I'm just a bit worried about this area here, although we have gone through it pretty quickly. Whether we finally complete this move by breaking through here, which would be really nice with all the other banks, we'll have to wait and see. But for the moment, we've got good volume, good momentum, moving average is good, so all the signs are pretty good there for ANZ. So hopefully that will continue on and have a breakthrough and join the rest of the banks. Okay, now I looked at NextDC before. It's just been an amazing stock. It's just run through these highs. There's big highs there, big correction for a couple of years there, but it's just moved higher and higher. So this one again is just really a matter of raising your stop. Like a lot of other stocks at the moment, raise your stop, and if they get hit, you get knocked out. But that's the way it is. But from here, we've already got a good profit that's stuck in there as well. It's from a good start. So that's good with NextDC. A couple of stocks worth looking at, I think, making new highs. Soul Pattinson and Brother Brickworks. We'll look at Brickworks in a second, but Soul Pattinson is climbing back towards those old highs up around R1, up around 40, 39, 40 bucks. It's now $35. It's making it just a steady move higher. And if I try and just put this volume up a little bit, you'll see that just recently we're getting some reasonably good volume pushed through here, and momentum's turning positive. So after a little bit of a lull here, we're starting to see this one get back on its bike again, and it's looking pretty good indeed. Okay, and it's inextricably linked stock. Brickworks is also looking pretty good. Let me just get this back again. Okay, you can see the volume has been reasonably good, momentum's good, the average is good, but new highs. Again, probably one where it's probably not that easy to get a hold of a lot of stock, but it's going up, and that's all I'm really interested in at the moment. I hold the stock, and I've got my stop set in case of any corrections. So that's Brickworks, that's Soul Pattinson, and there's numerous stocks I can go through at the moment, as you know, because the market's kind of a little bit crazy, although there's still an awful lot of stocks waiting to come in, sitting in those green areas in the trend intensity area on Stockradar. They're the ones you want to watch because they're the ones that are going to move. Okay, now the other stock I just want to go to, consumer discretionary stocks. We know I'm talking about JB Hi-Fi, Supercheap Auto, Harvey Norman. They all had a bit of a blistering run up a couple of weeks ago, but they've had a little bit of pullback. It's a fairly significant one, but not significant in the size of the move up, so not too right about that there. But Breville Group is one that has been starting to make new highs again. A bit of congestion here, but it really has been a really good move, this breakout here. We're a bit tough getting through this area here, but we got through it. It had a rally here. Since this point here back in October, it really moved ahead pretty well from about $20 up to nearly $28 now, so it's looking pretty good. Volume is okay, momentum is okay, moving average is okay, and the trend is up, so I've got no really worried about this one. I quite like what we have here with the downtrend, the big accumulation pattern which we've broken out of. So Breville Group in the consumer discretionary section is what I like. Okay, look, that's really all I really want to talk about today. I am on holiday, having a bit of a break up here, catching a few waves and enjoying myself, but I'm keeping an eye on the market for you, and it is really a matter of just hanging with those trend stocks that are going up. Don't worry too much about the pullbacks, because you can. That's always a healthy thing. It blows the froth off, brings out a few sellers, brings back a few buyers that haven't had a chance. So it's really a good thing to have good pullbacks. Okay, so that's really all I want to talk to you about. The CD stocks, and of course the builders are an interesting section as well, though we don't have many of them left. CSR, Adbri disappearing, but Boral and James Hardie are still going gangbusters. So keep an eye on them, they're still hanging on. And we've got one big new stock in this week, and you have to go to Stockradar to see that one, which I was a bit surprised about actually. It's been a long trading range for quite a period of time, but it's now broken up, and it's looking very interesting, and it's also one for you to get onto. Okay, so that's about it, all I got for you today. Hopefully I'll get back to you next week, back from the office, maybe if I get back to the office. Not really in a hurry to get back there, but I probably will. So for the moment, sayonara. I hope you all have a good week. Remember, the trend is your friend until you're told otherwise. Okay, so don't worry about the shakes and the shudders until your stop goes off, or until we get a real break of trend. Got the evidence there. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it too much. It's a very simple and effective rule. Okay, follow the trend. Okay, it's a good filter to have. When your stop goes off, the trend has ended, and that's really what it's all about. Whether the trend has ended or not, when your stop goes off for you, it has ended, and that's the way it works. Okay, so I'm trying to keep things as simple as I can with my entries and my exits and my stops, so to make it easy for you to understand how the markets work, because the markets aren't that complicated. We tend to overcomplicate them because that's the way we are. But if we look back, keep it simple, like that Dow chart I showed you of the monthly one last week. It's just really is a simple thing, looking at trends and following them. Okay, so that's really all I've got for you today. Watch your trends, heed your stops, stay safe, and I'll see you all next week. Thanks very much.